World News Tonight this Thursday, the president's trial in the Senate. He is referred to as a cancer on the body politic.
We are here today because President William Jefferson Clinton decided to put himself above the law. Not once, not twice, but repeatedly.
The Senate as jury. Will this presentation change any minds? Will witnesses make a difference? The pressure to call them is mounting.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Reporting tonight from Washington.
Good evening. The president's impeachment trial in the Senate is at full throttle now. This afternoon, the Republican team began to present chapter and verse why they believe the president is absolutely, unequivocally guilty of obstructing justice and perjury and should therefore be removed from office. There's a lot of ground to cover tonight, so first let's get right to the Capitol and ABC's Linda Douglas.
House Judiciary Chairman Henry Hyde focused on the perjury charge, playing to the senators' sense of history and to their belief that a sworn oath is sacred. He reminded them of how England's Sir Thomas More told his daughter 450 years ago that he had chosen to be executed rather than swear to a false oath.
When a man takes an oath, Meg, he's holding his own self in his hands, like water, and if he opens his fingers then, he needn't hope to find himself again.
The House manager's overarching message on the perjury charge was that failure to convict the president could lead to widespread lying in courts around the country.
Members of the Senate, what you do over the next few weeks will forever affect the meaning of those two words, I do.
Our entire legal system is based upon the courts being able to find the truth.
Truth-telling is the single most important judicial precept underpinning this great system of justice we have.
But when the managers began reciting the familiar allegations against the president, sometimes repeating each other, some of the senators got restless. One began organizing his desk drawer, another took his pulse, and still another was seen popping jelly beans. And all day long, behind the scenes, a partisan battle over whether to call witnesses was brewing. The Democratic Senate leader accused some Republicans of secretly plotting with House managers on calling witnesses, even though the Senate had agreed to put that decision off.
Well, I'm very disappointed and somewhat surprised that there has been that kind of activity this early. It certainly violates the spirit of the agreement that we just all agreed to last week.
And today, for the first time, there was serious talk among Republican senators over whether and how to get the president to testify. One said Mr. Clinton could be forced to appear.
I think ultimately the Senate does have the power under the impeachment rules to compel the president to come in.
Now, most Republican senators don't want to go that far. They don't want to have that kind of battle, but some do want to invite him to come. GOP strategist says that has the potential to embarrass the president if he declines. And Peter, tonight the Republican Party is out taking a poll to see if the country wants the president to testify.
Thanks, Linda, very much. Linda Douglas on Capitol Hill. It is certainly true, as Linda indicates in her report, that in their opening statements, Congressman Hyde and Sensenbrenner were somewhat prone to the sweeping phrase about justice and the good of the nation. But then came Congressman Asa Hutchinson from the president's own state, Arkansas, to argue in very precise detail that the president had obstructed justice on numerous occasions. And as ABC's Jackie Judd reports, he also made the most compelling case today for calling witnesses.
Congressman Hutchinson outlined the obstruction charges like an aggressive courtroom prosecutor giving a summation.
And here the answer is what is critical for my point.
Repeatedly, he linked events, created timelines of visits to the White House, of telephone calls among key players, all trying to prove that Mr. Clinton deliberately and illegally set out to conceal his relationship with Monica Lewinsky.
He was willing to obstruct, impede justice by improperly influencing a witness.
For example, Hutchinson tried to show how efforts to get Lewinsky a job intensified after the president learned she had been subpoenaed in the Paula Jones case. Eventually, Lewinsky signed a false affidavit in that case and got a job. All of this allegedly orchestrated by the president's good friend, Vernon Jordan.
What happened? Things happened. He made things happen. Monica Lewinsky got a job. The affidavit was signed, and the president was informed by Mr. Jordan through Betty Curry that the mission was accomplished.
Hutchinson, acknowledging his conclusions do not square with Jordan's testimony, challenged the Senate to help set the record straight by calling Jordan as a witness.
If we had Mr. Jordan on the witness stand, which I hope to be able to call Mr. Jordan, you would need to probe where his loyalties lie, listen to the tone of his voice, look into his eyes, and determine the truthfulness of his statements.
He acknowledged as well that the testimony of Betty Currie and Lewinsky were at odds about who called whom to collect and hide the gifts Mr. Clinton had given the young woman. Hutchinson's solution: call them in too, especially Lewinsky.
If you say in your mind, well, I'm not going to believe her, then you should first give us the opportunity to present this witness so that you as jurors could fairly and honestly determine her credibility.
Anticipating the White House will rely heavily on Lewinsky's grand jury testimony that no one ever asked her to lie or promised her a job for her silence, Hutchinson said the president never had to be explicit. He only needed to suggest, because Lewinsky understood what Mr. Clinton expected. Peter?
Thank you very much, Jackie Judd. The White House says the president did not watch the trial today. The mantra is he's doing the nation's business. ABC's Sam Donaldson is over there at the White House tonight. Sam?
Well, that's right, Peter. This may be the prosecution's day, but this White House knows better than anyone the necessity of putting their side of the story before the public in the same news cycle. So late this afternoon, Jim Kennedy, the spokesperson here for various scandals, stepped before the cameras.
The House Republican managers have begun to lay out a case that is both unsubstantiated and circumstantial. The reality is there is no case for removal of the president. We look forward to presenting a defense that is based on the facts, the law, and the Constitution.
Officials here also complain that the Republicans are misrepresenting the testimony in the House. They say that when Charles Ruff, the president's counsel, was asked by James Sensenbrenner whether the president had told the truth in the grand jury, that Ruff had said yes, he thought he had. Although Sensenbrenner told the Senate today, they say, and this is in the record, that the Ruff didn't answer the question. And as you point out, Peter, the president isn't watching. He was going to go to New York tonight, but there's an ice storm here, so he's still staying home.
Sam, I know the public agenda there tonight, but as you talk to the president's men and women tonight, do you find anything that they think hurt them today?
Well, you have to pick this up almost by osmosis. I don't think they believe that the phrases about the rule of law and the Senate's duty, important as they may be, have hurt them. But when Asa Hutchinson starts laying out the case methodically and say the president made this call and he made this statement according to witnesses, if there's any harm to be done from today's testimony, it comes from that.
Thank you, Sam. In other words, the cumulative weight of evidence. Just ahead, we'll ask that question of several others. Anything happen today to change the conventional wisdom about how this trial might turn out?
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Nicoderm CQ.
We're finally winning. Today, more people are quitting smoking than ever. And a lot of them are doing it with Nicoderm CQ. CQ's got the 3 steps, the gradual step-down method doctors prefer to help get you free. So how many have quit with Nicoderm CQ? Why, we'd have to build the biggest stadium in America just to hold them all. Remember now, New Year's Day, quit with Nicoderm CQ. We're saving a seat for you.
Do you want to make this Valentine's Day extra special? Then bake your sweetheart Pillsbury Valentine cookies. They're the ones with a big heart in the middle. Simply slice, bake, and exchange.
Everyone loves them.
When was the last time you felt the power of a mountain, the romance of a train, or the unexpected warmth of a stranger's smile? When was the last time you spotted orcas at play, or remembered how to spell Aurora Borealis? And when was the last time you felt so inspired by the simple act of looking out your window? Holland America, it's time.
Today's session in the Senate here in Washington didn't end all that long ago, and in the intervening period, we've had several people reporting the story on Capitol Hill, including our resident analyst Bill Kristol, Cokie Roberts, and our legal analyst Jeffrey Toobin. Let me go to Bill Kristol first. Bill, some people were struck today by, as I said a moment ago, the cumulative weight of the evidence being laid out today. As you talk to Republicans on the Hill, impressed, not impressed, about the same?
Pretty impressed. I couldn't talk to Republican senators. They've been in the chamber since pretty much steadily since 1 p.m. Republican staff were pleased by the day. They did feel the weight of the evidence might make a difference, not in persuading Democratic senators that the president should be removed from office, but that witnesses were necessary. The one word you hear from every Republican you talk to within the first 10 seconds of the conversation is witnesses. It's the promised land for Republicans. They may be putting excessive hopes in witnesses, but it's the one thing they think could really change the dynamics and jolt some Democrats into considering removing the president.
Do any of those Republicans you've talked to today think they have a better shot at witnesses today than they had yesterday?
Yes, Peter, they do. They do because, especially with Mr. Hutchinson's presentation late in the day, the weight of the evidence, the conflicts in testimony make it a little hard, they think, for Democratic senators to say, well, we know enough, we don't need witnesses.
Bill, thanks very much. Bill Kristol. Cokie Roberts is with us on Capitol Hill. Cokie, as you look at the numbers, unless this is to be hopelessly partisan, Republicans need Democratic cooperation on this. Will they get it?
Well, they don't need Democratic cooperation on the question of calling witnesses because they only need 51 senators and there are 55 of them. And I think, though, that Bill is quite right that there was a strong case made today for calling witnesses. There are not that many people with open minds sitting on the Senate floor. They're sitting and listening, but most of their minds are made up. But I think that they could convince some Democrats to come along on this witness question.
Are you then fairly convinced at the end of this day, based on this argument, or were you convinced before that witnesses are going to be inevitable?
I think witnesses are very likely. There are some Republicans who said before today that they were wary of witnesses. They're likely to change their minds.
And what do you pick out one thing you think that will have changed their minds today, if you can?
I would agree that Asa Hutchinson's presentation, again, familiar to many of us who have followed the case, not that familiar to people who have had other things to do. Seeing that pattern of and that record of meetings, phone calls among the president, Vernon Jordan, Betty Currie, Monica Lewinsky, and the head of Revlon, it gets your attention, Peter.
Thanks, Cokie, very much. Let's add one legal voice to this tonight, to the political analyst. ABC's Jeffrey Toobin is with us. On the basis of evidence that might lead to witnesses today, what did you hear?
Well, I heard a very impressive presentation by Asa Hutchinson, as we discussed before. Also, at the end of the day, Congressman Rogan from California also made a powerful case that witnesses needed to be called. But also, I was in the chamber at the end of the day, and that was an exhausted United States Senate. They did not like sitting there all day long, and I think they're not going to have their constituents demanding this trial be extended, and I think they may be looking for ways to shorten this as well.
Thank you all very much, Jeffrey Toobin, Bill Kristol, and Cokie Roberts. When we come back, why such a drop in the stock market? And a major American city, not very far from here. Why do the murder suspects go free without a trial?
Did you know there are over 120 different languages spoken in the state of Missouri? Over 120, and even more in New York and California. Here, in America. You see, these days we all live somewhere between it's a big country and it's a small world. So we all have to learn how to say, we're all in this together. Because life will be a lot better when we do. Diversity, it's about all of us.
Keep it going! Okay, that's enough.
Bayer can relieve joint inflammation and stiffness. Tylenol can't. And taken regularly, Bayer can help save your life. Ask your doctor. Bayer, powerful pain relief and so much more.
With all we have to do today, does it make sense to keep color on your hair for 30 minutes when you can get rid of the gray in 5? Just 5. Great color, body, and shine in 5 gentle minutes. Just 5. Smart hair color. Works for me.
You can feel it start to burn all through here. All you can think about is getting rid of it quickly. I even tried Zantac 75, but it didn't work fast enough. Finally, I asked my doctor, and my doctor said Mylanta. Fast-acting Mylanta was made to work fast where heartburn hurts most. Soothing, on contact. It's so fast. My doctor said Mylanta.
And if you suffer from gas, there's a Mylanta just for you. Mylanta Gas.
This is the year I'm gonna get organized. This is the year I start a filing system that works. The year I hunker down. And I mean hunker.
Staples has Avery products at low prices. So don't just say you're going to get organized. Get organized.
This is the year I lose the weight.
Bob, we're going for pizza. Want to come?
Ooh, pizza!
Staples has Avery Index tabs for 94 cents and over 7,000 other supplies at guaranteed low prices. Yeah, we've got that.
On the money tonight, a stock market that had looked invincible this year took another hit today. That's 2 days in a row. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 228.5 points to close at 9120. On the NASDAQ, stocks fell almost 40 points. Investors are apparently concerned about instability here and in Brazil, where yesterday they devalued the currency. Here's ABC's Betsy Stark.
The Dow was already down 100 points when the Senate convened its proceedings against the president, and the loss quickly doubled. Then came word that trading had been temporarily halted on the Brazilian stock exchange following a 10% drop in the market there, and stocks fell further.
It's a very, very emotional market. We've completely ignored both of these news issues until they were really put in our face, and today's the day we decided to react.
A $41 billion bailout plan backed by the United States is apparently not working in Brazil. Now investors are worried about how problems there will affect the rest of the region. 1/5 of U.S. exports go to Latin America. By the end of trading today, the Dow Industrials had given back all of the gains they made this year for a 2-week swing of more than 800 points. 1999 is shaping up as volatile, if nothing else. Betsy Stark, ABC News, New York.
There were 2 developments in the Olympic scandal today. In Salt Lake City, a federal grand jury is expected to begin hearing evidence of tax fraud and bribery as early as next week. And in Switzerland, the president of the International Olympic Committee, Juan Antonio Samaranch, confirmed that 13 IOC members were probably involved in the bidding scandal. And this strange phrase, Mr. Samaranch also spoke of the IOC's hope that the Games will remain in Salt Lake City. The right to a speedy trial is a basic right enshrined in the Constitution. This next report tonight from nearby Baltimore, Maryland, is about what happens when the justice system fails to deliver. In Baltimore, it has meant 4 murder suspects set free within the last 9 days. There is so much concern in the state about what's going on that the governor is threatening to take over the court system. ABC's Bob Woodruff has been there.
For 3 years, William Flowers sat in a Baltimore jail waiting to be tried for murder. But in that time, prosecutors lost the key evidence against him. So he walked free.
What are you thinking about the system? They crazy.
Jay Anderson and 3 others were freed as well. They were supposed to be tried for murdering a young father named Sean Suggs. Suggs' father still can't believe there will be no trial.
It takes away the belief that this is America and justice prevail. It tells me that at this point that justice has failed.
But Anderson's case had been stalled in Baltimore's clogged criminal justice system for 2.5 years. The judge said there was little choice but to let him go.
Not only is it very painful to the victims, and we empathize deeply with them, but it's very painful to the people who work within the system.
The police all believe you did it. The prosecutor believes you did it.
That's the system. It's their job to try to believe I did it. They only doing that job. My lawyer did his job.
The problem in Baltimore is that the courts are not keeping up with the streets. While most U.S. cities experienced a decline in murders last year, here homicides were up. And in the past 8 years, felony drug cases have tripled. And police have gotten better at making arrests. Their state-of-the-art booking center is processing 30,000 more offenders than it did 3 years ago. But the court system cannot handle it.
We need more prosecutors. The city of Baltimore refuses to allow us to hire more prosecutors because there's a hiring freeze. But that hiring freeze does not apply to the police department.
If the system is not fixed soon, many in Baltimore believe there will be more suspects going free and more families left to wonder why. Bob Woodruff, ABC News, Baltimore.
A couple of other overseas items today. The U.S. and its allies are trying to find a way to get the UN weapons inspectors back into Iraq. At the UN today, France proposed lifting the oil embargo on Iraq in exchange for a new long-term system of weapons monitoring. The Clinton administration is opposed to lifting the embargo altogether, but would agree that the Iraqis could sell more oil. And from the State Department's Counterterrorism Rewards Program today, an offer of $5 million for information leading to the capture of Osama bin Laden. The U.S. holds him responsible, as you know, for the embassy bombings in Africa last August, and this poster will be distributed throughout the world. Osama bin Laden will, by the way, be the subject of an ABC News special tonight called Target America, the Terrorist War. 10 o'clock Eastern Time, 9 o'clock Central Time. When we come back, some familiar commercials that you are paying for. It's your money.
I know a place. Americans love scenery. We can't get enough of it. We don't care how far it is. We want to see it all. Good thing there's Chevy Malibu, a car designed to take us anywhere and back. It'll actually go up to 100,000 miles before its first scheduled tune-up. That's a lot of vacations and a lot of souvenirs. So take the long way home. It's the car you knew America could build. Malibu, genuine Chevrolet.
I'll take you there.
There's a new force you can use to help your small business. Introducing Sprint Business Flex, a new communications plan you can adapt to help your business grow. Add toll-free, long distance, global service, and more. Business Flex adapts along with you. You're in control, so charge ahead and feel free to make the right moves. Plus, with Business Flex, you get a monthly bonus that can grow as you grow, so your success can really pay off. Call 1-888-SPRINT-BIZ. We help your business do more business.
As a customer, you're so important to us that you should have the best price all the time.
Why shop somewhere else when you know every day you're going to come in and get that low price?
Home Depot doesn't have sales because we have an everyday low price.
But the competitors have to have the sales because they jack their prices up so high. But we keep our prices low every day.
I know you can feel confident coming into a Home Depot and finding the lowest price day in and day out. I know you can.
Bottom line, if we sell it and you bought it someplace else, you paid too much for it.
You would be out of your mind if you shop someplace else.
Frequent heartburn. Is it worse at night, especially after dinner?
Mm-hmm.
Have you treated it, but still suffer on 2 or more days a week? Mm-hmm. Has your heartburn been a persistent problem for you? Your heartburn may be due to a potentially serious condition called acid reflux disease. Ask your doctor about Prilosec. Just 1 capsule daily can provide 24-hour complete heartburn relief. 24 hours. Ask your doctor for more information about Prilosec and if it's right for you. The most common side effects are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. Want 24-hour heartburn relief with 1 daily dose? Ask your doctor about the 24-hour complete heartburn relief of Prilosec.
Given that we're here in Washington tonight, another edition of The Government and Your Money, if you pay attention at all to the media, in this case we mean specifically advertising, you've probably seen, heard, or read some come on to eat pork or potatoes or beef or drink milk or maybe have the incredible edible egg. Those ads are produced by marketing boards, which are actually little government agencies spending your money. ABC's John Martin tonight on the story behind the slogans.
The commercial is catchy,
The fabric of our lives.
but spending for the whole cotton campaign is out of control, say people paying for it.
It's offensive to me whenever they're spending huge amounts for parties, galas, liquor, things, and I'm having trouble making production costs.
By law, farmers must pay what amounts to a tax, thousands of dollars a year in assessments, every time they sell their cotton. The money finances a government-supervised promotion campaign. This at a time farmers here in Texas face financial ruin from low prices.
Here we are, we're just trying to survive. And when I hear about the event at the Met, I can't see that that's helping me any.
This was the event at the Met, the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, a $400,000 party for Friends of Cotton. The Cotton Board, which oversees it for the government, denied ABC News permission to look inside. It even refused to be interviewed. In recent years, other embarrassing expenses have come to light. Charges for entertainment at this striptease club, and greens fees for cotton bigwigs at this championship golf club. But cotton isn't the only commodity under fire. There are 12 programs costing $659 million. The government allows dairy producers to collect $228 million for promotion. Beef producers, $84 million. Soybean producers, $83 million. pork producers $60 million, and milk producers $107 million. Milk mustaches may be cute, but not cheap or even effective. For about $3 million, the Milk Board has published about 80 mustache pictures.
The program has been a huge success.
Has milk consumption gone up?
Milk consumption is not up this year.
But that's just the kind of goal federal auditors say the USDA should have insisted on as it supervised the milk program.
Were there adequate controls in place? Yes. Were they working? No.
The government and the industry say they're finally cracking down, but that doesn't help struggling producers like Zane Reese and others in the West. Millions of dollars have been spent without adequate oversight. It's their money and yours. John Martin, ABC News, Lubbock, Texas.
And we'll be back after this commercial.
Oh, this head cold. I'm so clogged up, I just can't focus.
You okay? Get Tavus D. Just one works 12 hours versus 4 Tylenol cold pills. Tavus D clears your congestion. Be clear-headed, clear through your day with Tavus D.
I work for a dermatologist. For psoriasis and eczema, she recommends Cordate Intensive Therapy. Its powerful medicine stops the itch and helps you heal fast. And patients prefer Cordate over Cortisone 10. Cordate Intensive Therapy. Doctor recommended, patient preferred.
How many sugars do you want?
Oh, I'll take 2. Hey, look at the little telephone.
Keep your eye on him. He'll be over every day to use it.
That's okay. Just as long as he dials 10-10-321 first.
Isn't 10-10-321 great? You should see how low my phone bill is.
And now it's better than ever. Saves 50% off calls over 10 minutes.
Right, day or night. So I save big on all my most important calls.
Like when I call my boyfriend in New York.
Right, like when you call your boyfriend in New York. Wait a minute, boyfriend? You got a boyfriend?
These days in Washington, there's more heartburn than ever, and more burning, and more pressure.
More pain.
It's time someone did more about it, too.
Alka-Seltzer does more with more medicines to speed complete relief to your worst heartburn and pain. Alka-Seltzer, more complete heartburn relief.
Tonight from ABC News, terrorists targeting Americans. Learn the true story behind the embassy bombings, the dangers to you abroad and at home, and meet one of America's most dangerous enemies. From ABC News, Target America, tonight at 10, 9 Central.
Just a brief review of the events here in Washington today. The Republican team began to argue the details of how the president obstructed justice and perjured himself. The House of Representatives decided those were impeachable offenses. At the end of this trial, the Senate will decide whether they warrant removing President Clinton from office. That is our report on World News tonight. There'll be more about this on Nightline. We'll be here again tomorrow. I'm Peter Jennings. Good night from Washington.
Tomorrow, a look back at one of the most famous trials of the century, remembering the last 100 years. Watch ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABCnews.com, now a part of